What is up? Happy 2020. We out here. Got the blue light blockers back in business. Got the really cool samurai with the eagle on his arm back there. We out here. And got some goals and some words over here, right? Goals are really cool and that's awesome, but I want you to focus over here on the words, peeps. It says discipline right there, right? So this video is going to be about discipline and living in the reality of discipline as I raise my standard of life to be in that of discipline. Okay, so what does that mean and why am I doing it? So basically what it means is that when I have the choice to be disciplined or not in my life, I'm going to approach things in a disciplined manner. Meaning that, for example, let's say I come back from breakfast, I come back from the gym at breakfast and I have the opportunity to eat like 2 eggs, avocado, and toast, or I have the opportunity to eat like Greek yogurt with like some, granola and like some like mini cookie dough bites that are vegan that I convince myself are healthy, which they may or may not be bad, but in reality, I know I don't need them. It's choosing the disciplined option if my goal, for example, is to be the healthiest version of myself, to be the most authentic, true version of myself where I know I don't need that stuff and know I don't really want that stuff that bad, right? It's leveling up myself in that regard and living in discipline, right? Choosing to do the right thing. For example, like 7 days ago, I quit eating sugar. So it's choosing to continually not eat sugar when we go out to dinner. It's not getting dessert, right? It's being disciplined, living in discipline, which is different than like, I want to lose 15 pounds this month. Like that's different, right? Or I want to cut sugar out. That's different. I just want to be disciplined in what I know to be true for me. And living in that reality and matching my thoughts and feelings with it will help me create it, of course. But why am I doing it? I'm doing it because it's an alternative to the classic goal setting practice or resolution setting practice, which are awesome. But the issue with setting goals and resolutions, etc., is that if you don't hit them, then you get discouraged and you quit, which is not good, right? Some of us set ridiculous goals that we don't create action plans for, and then we don't hit them. We get all upset. But perhaps if you had lived by a word, lived by a truth, lived by a standard, you might have gotten way closer, right? So the combination of the two, I believe, is going to be really effective. I've never done these two in unison before, so I'm going to also kind of experiment with this as we go. But I wanted to share it because I think I'm not the only one who could benefit from living in discipline, right? And I'm just sharing my personal experience here. But for me, the reason I chose discipline is because I've not been a disciplined person in my life. I have ADD, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that has that. But I had a really difficult time in my life being consistent and disciplined. I'm easily distracted. I can be really lazy at times, especially in the past. If I don't want to do something, I'm stubborn and just don't do it. Sometimes the willpower is suspect in that regard. And over the course of my life, I just never showed that discipline, which is why I would tell my dad and mom every single semester, I'm going to get straight A's. And then I would never study. I would do homework in class the day it's due. And I would do mediocre on tests and quizzes, and I would lose points because I wouldn't do the homeworks. And lo and behold, not being disciplined in those ways resulted in me not being successful. The same thing was for pretty much all sports besides football, which I took a lot of initiative in. But overall, it wasn't until I got into bodybuilding that I started to finally be disciplined and saw what discipline could do. And for me, what I saw is that when I was disciplined with my diet, I was a lot more disciplined in other areas of my life, right? Because small wins lead to larger wins over time, compounded, of course. And so as we embark on this year in 2020, there's so many New Year's resolutioners and there's so many, New Year's goal setters, etc. But how do you go the distance? Well, I believe for me this year, it's going to be to live in discipline. Because if I live in discipline, it's going to lead to me executing at a really high level. Because if I up my standard and my new standard is discipline, now I have to get above that bar or I'm not going to be fulfilled with who I am. And one of the values that I really hold dear to myself is lead so others may follow, right? And you lead so others may follow, and they lead so others may follow. We all lead so others follow. Then we all become the leader and the follower. It's a beautiful thing. But it doesn't work if you don't live by the truth. And since I spoke this, and this is what I want this year for me, because I know how good it's going to impact myself personally, but also professionally, well, then it's really important for me to uphold that standard. And so what I'm thinking about not only is recording this year, but I think something that'd be really cool for you right now is to think about a word that you want to live by this year, to think about something that you can do that is going to up your standard of life. Maybe it's courage. Maybe it's to have courage in all things personally and professionally. And you live by courage. And all this year, Every opportunity you have to be courageous, you do the courageous thing. What do you think is going to happen to your personal courage? It's going to increase, right? If you're consistent. What about commitment? You choose commitment. And in commitment, that means that when you make a commitment to something, you have to uphold it and follow through with it, even if it's not the right thing for you, and you find that out later. But the cool thing is if you commit to something and you don't like it, you don't have to do it again because you just won't make that commitment. So very, very quickly, what you see is that when you live by a word, right, or a standard, right, because the word has the meaning behind it, of course, and you live by that and you give value to it, all of a sudden it becomes something powerful, a powerful tool you can use to build awareness within yourself, right? So for example, with the commitment, if you commit to something and you don't like it, now you're aware that I don't like this, AKA you go on a date with someone and you make the commitment. I don't like this date. This isn't really the person for me. Okay, great. Now you are aware this isn't the person. Don't have to waste time with them anymore. For me with discipline, it's like, okay, Graham, break discipline, eat the sugar. Wow, I really don't want to break this. I'm so much more aware of the fact that I don't want to eat the sugar now that I've broken it, right? So, or, if I am disciplined, okay, great. I haven't had sugar in 7 to 14 days. Now I feel so much healthier. Great. I really knew I didn't want to break my discipline. Goes either way, of course. So moral of the story is this year I'm trying to something different and I want to live in discipline, live by that standard. Again, for someone who has never really been good with discipline, I believe this is going to be the key to my year to make it the best year that I've ever had in my life, as far as personally and professionally. And I'm really feeling it right now. I'm feeling I'm living in that. My thoughts and feelings are aligned. I'm creating a new reality in which I am disciplined, right? And all of a sudden, guess what I'm doing? I'm doing things that I don't normally do because I'm just taking action and being disciplined. All these little things that I don't normally do, I'm just doing them because I'm living in discipline. So again, what I recommend, if you're open to it, this year, try something a little different, is to choose a word that you want to live by. Again, it could be anything, right? It could be integrity, do the right thing, even when no one's looking. It could be courage, like I said, overcoming yourself and gaining self-awareness in that regard. It could be leadership and choosing to be the leader, right? And in that sense, leading yourself by example through action. It could be commitment we talked about. It could be honor and just living in that realm of honor and making that a standard. I'm just going to be an honorable person. And again, do more stuff along the right lines of the things that I know I should be doing. Regardless of what it is, this is just a different way that you can track yourself this year, because I promise you, if you live, I actually just had the realization, this is basically virtue theory. So Benjamin Franklin actually he coined the idea of it, but you take, I can't believe that's where this came from. And I read about it when I was 18, and now it's coming to me. Life is good. Anyway, basically virtue theory is really simple. Benjamin Franklin wanted to build up his virtues, and just become a better all-around dude. And so what he would do is he would take turns throughout the year over spans of 8 weeks, and he would track different virtues. And in that 8 weeks, he would live by a certain virtue. One might be chastity, one might be courage, for example, one might be patience, and he would live in those by that standard and in that frequency during that time, meaning that during those 8 weeks, he was very aware that he was supposed to be patient. So on all little things throughout the day, he would work on being patient so he could grow himself. And I think that for MBS, mind, body, spirit, and growing yourself personally and or professionally, because if you grow personally, you're going to grow professionally. It's a byproduct, because if you get better at work, you're getting better at you, more than likely, right? But if you implement some of this stuff, I think it can make a massive difference in your year, right? So I want you to tell me below what word you're looking to live by this year and give this virtue theory a shot. Again, I'm choosing discipline. It's right there, because discipline for me is going to lead to execution, and execution is going to lead to collaboration, and collaboration is going to lead to me meeting all kinds of cool people, do all kinds of awesome things, and create such amazing things with all kinds of amazing people. So Saturday night, and it's 10 p.m. and I've been trying to get this video out, and I'm glad I finally did, because it's a really important video to me, because I have never lived in discipline in my life, and I'm open to sharing that with you. But I'm also excited to share this concept of virtue theory with you, and for you to give it a shot and practice it, because again, the goal setting works, peeps, but if you don't know how to set goals correctly and you don't know how to create a plan of action to actually achieve those goals, then you're just writing a bunch of stuff on paper. And if you don't have feelings coming through with the thoughts that you're having, the visualizations, you're not going to create a new reality. You're just writing words on a paper and throwing a shot in the dark, like saying, yeah, I want this, 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 but not taking the required action because you're not getting up to the vibration you need to understand that to take the action because you already know what you want. Thoughts plus feelings are going to equate to your reality. And this is a way for you to hold yourself to a higher standard to create that. So discipline is for me. I'm curious, what is it for you? Much love to you all. I hope this video was helpful. We'll check back in a year and see how I lived in discipline this year. And there's a chance that I actually try his method and change these up throughout the year. That'd be pretty cool too. I could see how this would be effective if you actually follow through with it. So with that said, I believe it starts with discipline, because if I can't be disciplined to not eat sugar, I can't do anything, right? And again, just this is totally irrelevant. So if you want to leave now, feel free. But for those of you who are interested in Myers-Briggs and personality type, I'm ENFJ, and I have SI Trickster, which is introverted sensing trickster function, which means that my concept of habits and order in the sense of personal experience with habit creation / discipline / consistency in things is really horrible. Like, I'm the person who every time I take notes, I take it a different way because I don't remember how I did it before. I just do whatever is in the moment. And this has been really hard for me, discipline. Like, not to mention, again, ADD, grew up in the 90s with like video games and stuff. So like naturally my awareness is just elsewhere, straight up. But for those Myers-Briggs peeps, you'll enjoy that. If you understand SI Trickster, etc., then definitely let me know in the comments. But otherwise, I hope this video was helpful. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic 2020. Let me know the word you're living by. And if you dig this video and you dig me and you kind of enjoy what we got going on here and you think you'd enjoy being around more people that like talk about stuff like this, there's a link to our Facebook group. It's free. It's all cool peeps. It's called Team Growth. It's dope for people who are trying to grow mentally, physically, spiritually, and awaken their infinite potential to use their gifts to serve one world, to find a way to fight through adversity. Always. We out here. Okay? So with all that said, much love to you. I'll be talking to you soon and checking in with discipline. Choose a word, peeps.